Welcome to another episode on the channel. In today's video, this is part 2 of the reconditioning and repair of this 2018 Ram 1500. So in this video, I'm going to detail it and do any maintenance items that might be due. So let's get started. We're gonna move on to the maintenance items. So let's take a look underneath for an inspection. So as we expect with 47,000 miles, there's really not much. The belt is good. Everything under here is dry. There's a little bit of an oily film back here, right in this area. I don't think it's anything to worry about right now. Transmission looks dry. Being a North Carolina truck, no rust anywhere. Everything up here looks fine. I've already wiggled the tires and checked the suspension parts over here. There's no torn boots, there's no clunking, there's no looseness anywhere. I took it for a drive and it's fine. Let's take a look in the back. And likewise back here. Everything looks clean and dry. It's a little wet from taking a drive down the wet road. Everything looks fine. And the brakes, maybe you can see it. Look through here. I don't even need to take the wheels off. We've got a decent amount of pad. They're getting low, but it's not terrible. It stops straight and smooth without any issues. So we'll let the brakes ride for a little while. We got pad on the front and the back. So I think we'll just do an oil change, air filter, cabin filter, and a brake fluid flush. About 35 minutes, got the oil change and the filters done. So here are the supplies that I used. Got Valvoline Full Synthetic 520, Mopar filter, MO339. I went with the Fram cabin filter. All of this stuff came from Walmart, by the way. So you can probably get it cheaper going through Rock Auto, but I wanted to do it this weekend and not wait. So yeah, we got a Fram cabin filter. This is the old one, so it's definitely a bit plugged. And if you happen to have a DS series truck that doesn't have a cabin filter, so some of the earlier Tradesmen, STs didn't have cabin filters, and you can see what is caught in the cabin filter here. So if you have low airflow and you don't have a cabin filter, check through my videos. I've got a video where I cleaned out the evaporator on a 2014 3/4 ton truck. It didn't have a cabin filter and the evaporator was completely plugged with mud. So I had to go in there and clean it and hose it out. So it's a good thing to check if you have low airflow and no cabin filter. And that's our engine air filter. Both of these are original, Mopar stamped, and I just put a Fram one in there. So I don't mind Fram air filters. I don't really care for their oil filters. So I always go with OEM here, and the price difference is negligible. So we got that stuff done. I guess next thing is the brake fluid, which shouldn't take too long once I get a helper. Got the brake fluid flush done. Only took about a half hour with a helper. So simple, very simple job to do, and $21 in materials. Next part of the project is the exterior detailing. First step, I'm gonna wash it in Dawn dish soap, get all the dirt, all the grease. I'm pretty confident there's no wax on it, being a fleet truck, but we'll get everything we can off of it before I get it in the garage. Then it's clay bar and probably do the single stage microfiber buffer on the DA to clean it up. We'll see how the doors come out. There's still a little bit of the vinyl lettering on it, so I'll get that off. I'll take the rapid remover to get the adhesive off, and then we'll hit it with a buffer to see if there's any shadowing of the letters left on the door. I may have to get a little more aggressive with the doors to clean those up, but the rest of it should be fine. It's white, so I mean, there's really not much you can do about it. It's amazing what just a quick wash can do. Truck really doesn't look that bad now that it's been washed. I gotta get a little bit of the lettering off of the doors and some of the glue, but that's about it. There's a couple spots. The bed's fine, except I gotta take a clay bar to this. It's like sandpaper up along the top. So we've got some paint transfer up here and a small dent. The black marks will come off. There's a little bit on the roof too. Nothing too serious. Lettering on this door. And that's pretty much about it for the exterior. So once I get the glue and the lettering off, I'll clay bar the whole thing and then buff what needs to be buffed. The hood actually looks pretty good. It doesn't even feel that bad, so it won't need too much work. So along with getting the lettering off of the doors, I'm getting rid of this awful tint. I'm not a fan of tint to start with, and then when it's pitch black tint like this, I just hate it. And the rear window is tinted from the factory, and then they've got this blackout tint on it on top, so I can't even see out of the back window. You look out of the rear view mirror and it's just black. So this garbage is going in the garbage. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna use my rapid remover, and it should take that glue off pretty easily, and just move on to the tint with probably a heat gun first, and then if there's glue left behind, we'll take the rapid remover to it as well. Only took a few minutes with the rapid remover, and I've got all of the adhesive off of the door. That stuff works fantastic if you're ever doing anything where you need to take off films or adhesives or anything. Works great. Only took a few minutes with the heat gun, and I've got the window tint off of all of the windows. And surprisingly, we'll say like 95% of the film came off without leaving residue. There's just a little bit here. I could take that off quickly with the rapid remover. Just a few hours of work and got rid of that garbage, so I can actually see out of the truck now. Next thing we're going to move on to is the exterior detailing. I'll start with a clay bar, and then we'll see what it looks like after that. I've got the clay bar done. The paint actually feels pretty good. Doesn't look too bad under the lights in here. It just needs a little touch up in a few spots, but I'll go over the whole thing with the microfiber pad and the Meguiar's single step detailer. Now, this truck has lived a fairly rough life in 47,000 miles. I knew that it had some work done to it. I knew this fender had some work. And you can see, maybe you can't see, but under a certain light, you can see some DA swirl marks in it. And you can see like some half-ass paint work on the inside of the lip. So that's been repainted. This door looks okay. The hood looks all right. This fender looks all right. This door, I knew it had been repainted because when I washed it, I noticed that there's no seam sealer on the lip in here. So that door has been replaced, and I also noticed after I washed it that the line on the rocker is not quite right. And then there was a chip spot here where you can see a little filler. So it's had some work on that rocker, and this door has been replaced. But it's a work truck, so I don't really care, as long as the paint stays attached to it and doesn't start just peeling off. I took a little bit of hand polish, and I was able to get the black marks off of here, so we got a little dent in it. Probably not going to worry about that. But the next step, we're going to hit it with the microfiber and our Meguiar's correction compound. This stuff works pretty well as a single step correction, as it says, a correction compound. I might need to get a little more aggressive on the doors just to get get these scratches and some of the lettering shadow off of it. The buffing is done, and it looks pretty nice, considering. I mean, it's white, so it looks pretty much the same as it did before, except now we don't have the halo of the lettering. Now, there are some spots around the truck, like in the hood, there's some gouges that are in the clear. I can feel them with my fingernail, so you'd have to get a fair amount more aggressive to get those out, wet sanding, and I don't really want to get that involved on a work truck, so we'll just buffed it out. Shines nice. Yeah, it'll be a nice truck when it's done here. So now the next thing, I'm just going to do a quick wash to get any buffing compound, any residue off of it, and then I've already got my power washer and foam cannon out, so I'll just do a coat of the foaming wax to protect it. That stuff lasts a couple months, and it's easy to throw on after you wash the truck. Since how, again, this isn't a show truck or a show car, I just put the foam cannon wax on it, and it lasts for a while, keeps the water beaded up. And with that, the exterior is done. I think it came out really nice. This should make a nice work truck. The only thing left on the exterior are the tires, but I've got a set of new Michelin Defenders coming. Looks great, shines great. The dings and scratches and touched up paint and repainted fenders and swapped out door. You really don't notice any of that from a few feet away. So yeah, this will make a great work truck, and we are full on grandpa spec here. The only thing missing would be some plastic vent visors around the top of the windows. Then it would be 100% grandpa spec. So it's a very unassuming truck, but it'll definitely get the job done. So next we'll move it into the garage and we'll take care of detailing the interior. Again, the interior isn't bad. Pretty much just scrub down the doors and the dash and the seats with, well, the seats may take some, I may have to get out the carpet cleaner for that. They're fairly dirty. They're not torn or anything, so they'll clean up nicely, but we'll just have to scrub everything down. I'll scrub everything with Dawn like I usually do to get all the dirt, grease, and whatever off, and then we'll go over it again with 303 just to give it a nice satin finish without being really greasy like Armor All. But it shouldn't take too long. Let's get started. Door panel cleaned up nice. The carpet cleaned up nice. There's a little bit on the floor mat, but I'll probably put rubber mats in it. Driver's seat isn't bad, but I need to hit the seat bottom with a little carpet cleaner because stains keep coming out of it. I clean it, then some more come out of it. But the steering wheel and dash, that all looks really nice. Really no wear showing anywhere. Same with the center console and the passenger seat and the rest of the carpet. That all looks clean. No funky smell in here. So it came out pretty nice. So now let's go ahead and take it for a quick drive to see if it drives as well as it looks. I'm very familiar with these trucks, having had, I think, 5 of the DS trucks and 3 of the 5th gen DT trucks. So everything seems to be as expected here. With this one being on the 17-inch tires, it doesn't handle as well as the 20-inch wheels, just because you have the taller sidewalls, but it rides really well. It's very smooth. This one, being two-wheel drive, it seems very spry compared to the 5th gen truck that I just sold. Same Hemi engine, just this is a fair amount lighter, I guess. Steering's nicely weighted. And then this truck in general, it's got a few creaks in it, but I mean, from it, because it was a fleet truck, I'm guessing it was not the best. It has not had the best maintenance. Here, I'll get on it a little bit. Now, one thing that I've noticed, I've had 3 of the 5th gen trucks. They've all had the Hemis. They've all been 4-wheel drive. 2 have had 392 rear ends. 1 of them had the 321. And I could just barely get 20 miles per gallon out of those at 65 miles an hour flat highway. Normal driving, 16 at best. All of the DS trucks that I've had, they've all been Hemis as well. A mix of 2-wheel drive and 4-wheel drive. And they easily do 20 miles per gallon. The 2-wheel drive one's 25 on the highway, and this one's no different. I've put a couple 100 miles on it, and it's averaging 21 miles per gallon with the same driving that I did with the 5th gen truck that was doing 16. So I don't know what they did with the DT trucks. It's supposed to be the same transmission, the rear ends, engines, but they just get shit gas mileage. So I don't know, but that's not bad. 21 miles per gallon here. And like we saw, it's pretty quick. Seems to have a lot of power. So I'll know the first time I go to tow with it, how it handles it. But just for driving around, it handles and drives really well. And if there was any concern about there being frame damage, I took measurements and that seemed fine. And then just driving it down the road, it tracks perfectly straight down the road. So I am 100% confident that there is no frame damage from that accident, the minor accident. So I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. It drives great. It was a really cheap truck all in, so it should serve its purpose pretty well. But of course, everything is for sale for the right price. So if somebody comes by with the right money, it'll go out the door. But speaking of money, let's head back to the house and we'll see how much this actually cost all in to get it in this pretty much 100% sorted condition. To finish out the video, let's take a look at the cost. So all in with all fees, taxes, repairs, everything, we're at $10,075. So I don't think that's too bad for a clean, low-mile truck, considering what trucks are going for nowadays. Pretty much 20,000 gets you a decent truck nowadays. And then I could have knocked $600 off of that, but I added the rear view mirror with auto-dimming headlights, the overhead console with HomeLink, and the factory trailer brake controller. So there were some opportunities to save some costs there. But, I mean, still, it's a cheap truck. So with that, make sure you check out the channel to see other videos, especially adding the rear view mirror with Smart Beam and the trailer brake controller. We've got separate videos on that. So make sure you like and subscribe to the channel to keep up with other projects. Thanks for watching.